Hi guys, and welcome back to iClone 3D, where we discuss tips, tricks and tutorials for the latest animation softwares. And if you haven't already, don't forget to sub to the channel and turn on bell notifications for all our future tutorials. And today we're going to look at morphs and how to import morphs from Character Creator to iClone, and then how to animate those same morphs in the timeline. Now this is a really cool feature because you can literally morph any part of the body and you can get that over into iClone and then start to animate that. So what you're going to first do is we've got our character here that we're going to morph, and with the morphs you can also morph the clothes as well. You're going to have to make sure the clothes are put on the body first, and you're just going to send this first initial character over to iClone. We're literally going to go up here, click on this. That will send that character straight over here into iClone. As you can see, it's loading up. So whilst that loads up in the background, we're now going to focus on the morphs. So for example, if we wanted to, make the character, get a bit more muscular, so we'll add a little bit of a body morph just to make him a little bit more bulkier. Brilliant. And say we wanted, the head to get bigger, just like a kind of comical sort of effect. We could just scale that head up. And then what we can now do is simply go up here to File, and we're going to just export that as an avatar. And we can leave the textures as they are, or you can change them if you wish. And then we'll just hit Export, and that will now export into our chosen folder. So I'm just going to save this as morph character 1, and we'll just hit save. And we'll head back here into iClone. And what we can do now is we can see our character's loaded up, and we can see he's not got any of those morphs that we've just done on the body yet. What we simply need to do is we want to click on this tab and go down to our morph creator here, and we'll just click on that, and that'll take a few seconds to load up. Once that's loaded up, what we're going to be able to do is we're going to be able to import that character morph that we just created into here. And we can then apply that to iClone. So we'll just go to the Edit Morph tab, and we'll just click this little plus tab, and that will open our documents up, and we can just go down here to the one we saved, which I believe was Morph Character 1, and we'll just double click that. That will then load these morphs into iClone. Now, the cool thing with this is we've got full control over when we use the morphs, we can actually keyframe them in and have them kind of dial in slowly over the timeline. So okay, so he hasn't morphed as much as I wanted him to, because I believed he was a lot more bulkier than that. So I'm just going to check this. I'm going to reset that, and I'm just going to go to the body morph. Okay, so it doesn't bulk him up, but we'll look at that in a second. But for now, we're just going to go here to update morph. That will then update the morph to iClone, so you can close this box. We don't want to save that. And now we just go down here to our morph animator, and we'll see those morphs have now loaded up into our morph animator. So you can see here he gets more ripped up as we drag that up. So you've got all your different morphs here, as you can see. Now we don't need to morph the boxes because the legs don't get bigger, so it's not disfiguring the boxes or anything like that. But I'll show you how to do that later if need be. And what we're just going to do is we're just going to go over here in our timeline. We're going to set a default key, and then we're going to drag it up to about 50 frames, and then we'll pull this up to 100. And now we've got an effect where if we hit play, the character gets ripped over time. So, really cool, and you can create some really, really cool effects. For some reason, it hasn't brought the head in, and we're going to go back and look at that now to see where we may have gone wrong. So I'll just go back into Character Creator, and we're just going to go to File. We're going to export, and I'm going to export this now as an OBJ, and we're going to go Character with Current Pose. And we'll just hit OK. So I'm going to export this as an OBJ just to see if I get some different results. Morph Character 2, and we'll just hit save, and we'll go back into iClone, and we'll now try to load these initial morphs. So we'll just close this, and we'll just undo the morph we've just done, though it looks really cool. I'll just play that one more time. So I'll just undo that, and now we've got no morphs on that body, and we'll just go back into our morph creator, and we will load up that new OBJ morph, and we'll see if that has the desired effects. I'm not too sure as to why they didn't load in. So I'll just go here to add morph, and we'll just go down to our morph. Okay, so I saved that as an OBJ, so that's morph character 2, and we'll hit OK. Now hopefully we can see here that should have loaded the morphs in pretty more accurately. As you can see there, the head scales up, and you're going to want to scale up all the components of the character here. So just to get the eyes and the mouth back in place, we'll just scale everything back up, and you'll just see they'll slot back in place, so you don't have to worry about that. So we'll get the boxes back in place. Okay, and we've still got this one eye for some reason doesn't want to go back into place, so we'll just slot that perfect. And now you can see those morphs have come in correct when we use an OBJ format. So I'm not sure why that is. It should usually work with an iAvator if you know when you do that, but clearly it didn't. So you can just export that as an OBJ, and that will give you the desired effect. So we'll just take all these back down to 0, and we'll just go then back to update, and that will load them into character creator. You can click reset, and that will just reset everything as well. So I'll just update that, and those new morphs will now be in iClone 8, so we just don't need to save that. We'll go back here to our morph animator, and you can see it's loaded the additional morphs in. And again, just want to hit default key, drag it to wherever you wish the morphs to start taking place, or if you want it to slowly take place over time, drag it along the timeline, and then we'll start to morph that character and all of those components, and we'll see exactly how that works. But really cool feature, guys. I mean, as I said, you can morph any component, any part of the body. So, you know, if you wanted to do muscles flexing, etc., if you wanted the character to, you know, flex his muscles, this will be the great way to do that. Would just be to morph that and, you know, morph those muscle flexes. And, you know, you can easily get those results. So we're just trying to get the tongue back into position. Okay, brilliant. So that's now morphed. And if we just close that and we go back to the beginning of our timeline and hit play, you'll see that character morph. And it looks really cool, guys. You can really use this, you know, in many fantastic ways. And, you know, you can make a character go from young to old. You can make a female turn into a male. You can, you know, use it in any kind of, you know, way to really get creative and start to make some fascinating morphs. You can even use it, you know, in terms of like cuts and bruises or character skin changing, etc. You know, a lot of fascinating ways to actually use that effect. So that's the simple way to get your character creator 4 morphs from character creator and into iClone. And I've just showed you how to edit them on the timeline, and, you know, really hope this tutorial helps. I really found it very useful myself. We're doing a whole bunch of creative stuff, so really hope to see you guys again soon for another tutorial, and have a great Sunday.